Fam, today we're taking a look at the Zirius Gundam from PBandai. This, of course, is an actual bootleg of this kit, and so I'm kind of interested in checking it out. So I did go ahead and pre-cut some of this kit. I will have some additional work to do on the backside, where normally I just actually have everything kind of pre-prepped. So I will have some nipping and some cutting to do on the backside here, but you can take a look at this manual here. It looks great. So this is a PBandai kit. It's coming from the manga series Gundam 8. And yeah, so this is a universe where Gundam and Kaiju fight. Guys, answer the question. Do you guys like the Kaiju concept in the Gundam universe? Obviously, we have it in other things like Eva and a few other different ones like that too. But do you like the Kaiju concept in the Gundam universe? Let me know in the comments, guys, as we get into this here. So yes, this kit is we'll go ahead and open it up, but I like the picture. The manual is nice and clean, good thick quality, and again, just overall great kit. So let's go ahead and jump into this here. I will show you real quick as we get into it. I'm kind of flopping this around everywhere, but you can see there's not a ton of runners in it. Struggling to focus a little bit. Not a ton of runners in this kit, but it's still, I think it works out well. And yes, even though this is a newer kit, it actually has polycaps. So it's what it is, you know, kind of thing. Again, partially cut out the backside once we get into it. More like I ran out of time as I'm getting into it to prep it. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and build it up as we get into this. So I will say for plastic quality, this is very much middle of the pack. I will say one thing. This does seem to be a little bit on the greasier side. So the mold, the grease on it is a little bit. You might want to wash it before you. You definitely want to wash it before you paint it. But even if you want to build it, it might be worth washing. Just a note. So I'm curious to see. Now I did have someone jump on here onto my comments, and when I put a little sneak peek out for this, and said this was a pretty solid kit all the ways around. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So again, like I said, I went ahead and cut everything out. Anyways, I start off with the plastic is a little bit on the greasier side, so definitely want to rinse it out, clean it up some, and then just kind of, you know, just for especially for painting purposes. But then we'll go ahead and touch on the quality itself. Is middle of the pack. It's nothing. I've definitely experienced worse, but I've also dealt with a lot better. It's a little bit on the chintzier side. I feel like it's not, and I would say for as far as printing purposes, I would say it's probably, yeah, it's a solid 6. I would say for if you put on a scale of 1 through 10, a solid 6 on that. Yeah, just snap it into place. As far as the nub cleanup goes on this, not bad. I will say this kit is not undergated, so do not expect it. You're going to have some cleanup on here, some filing. And, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, what do we got here? We need the A2. With the peg. Make sure I didn't miss that. On the runner here. Nope, it looks like I have it cut off there. So, it's the red. It be the red one. Yeah, another thing with the red, definitely can see it. Definitely on the, like, I would say it's like Bandai probably about like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago in kind of quality. That's not necessarily it's a bad thing. And it's definitely, it seems like it's going to be a tight kit to put together, which it's okay. That definitely pans out well. So let's go ahead and put this poly cap on here. Now again, this is a bootleg, so that means just a direct copy of the original. So that means, unfortunately, if you're seeing polycaps in here, you're going to see polycaps in the actual Bandai kit as well. And that's a little of the disappointing side for sure. All right. Make sure we have everything lined up. So far, the part, it's a little tight, but honestly, the parts are lining up pretty good. So here's our first color correcting sticker. I will show you that now that we're getting into it. Interesting. So that's going to separate. So that gives a little bit of bend in that chest area. And it actually popped off here. Yeah. Definitely on the tighter side for sure. If this continues to pop off, I'll throw some glue on it. Grooves right into that slot. Alright, so next up is... Oh, actually, that actually is the section that has the color correcting sticker on it. So we'll go ahead and put that on. And looks like color correcting sticker number 1. So you can see, here is the color correcting stickers on this. And yeah, not a lot. Just using mostly for the scopes and a couple of marker and like cam sensors throughout the kit itself. So now I don't like this because it has a line in the middle. It's meant to be kind of folded, and when you get to that kind of stuff, folded's never really the best. They just don't want to stick. Okay. So now that's on. We are going ahead and we're going to put in. So this is actually quite a bit of things going on in the chest section. It's pretty interesting overall. A lot of color separation on this. Again, the plastic quality is about middle of the pack. About I would say a 6 out of 10. And the plastic, like the color and stuff, not really faded, but it definitely has a waxier feel from that mold. There is a little bit of overprinting here and there, not much. And all in all, again, nothing is undergated on this kit. So expect a lot of cleanup on that too, where a lot of these kits nowadays are kind of like readjusted on the runner. But, you know, it is what it is kind of thing. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put this up top. And now this is an interesting series. I was catching up a little bit on the lore itself. Oh, let me get the file here again. Just so you can see, not too much if it wants to focus here. Just a little bit of nubbing. Now, I will say when it comes to sanding and filing, it actually cleans up very nice. So it's consistently that color all printed and molding all the ways through. Alright, so, but you will have some nubbing on it. Oh, that lined up pretty good. Nice. Not too tight. Alright, so next we're going to work in these polycap for the arm joints. Arm joints? Can't talk now. But, how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone having a good time? Anyone building anything? So, let's see. Pops into place here, and then the other side as well. And yeah, so we get this side down here. Kind of just sits into the groove. All right, so that's a very interesting build on that. Do I slide these in first? No. Okay. So it looks like these just kind of sink in. So then that's on a ball joint, so that actually separates. That's interesting. That's an interesting gimmick. Alright, so once we get that on, we do have a little splash of yellow in the vents. Make sure we have those. Okay, oh, it goes this way. There we go. And this other end. Again, the quality of this, so-so, but not bad. Like I said, I've had experience with worse. And once we get the build together, as long as it sits in there pretty good, and holds tight. That one felt a little loose. I had to give it the old tap test, see if it'd stay in there. All right. Let's see. And this is, like I said, interesting series. So very much gives you kind of like a Gundam slash, you know, Kaiju mix between the two. And I mean, I kind of like the concept myself. I don't know if you guys like Kaiju in there or not. Let me know in the comments below. But I like the concept of it. So when I was bringing that up, because this thing has kind of like a spine on the back of it that kind of adds to it. And I think it's gonna be interesting. Let's see. So we have now this also utilizes. Okay, so there's actually printed for some vents on that, which is pretty cool. And make sure we have that facing the right way. Gonna pop that into place. Definitely on the tighter side, but it's actually not bad. I can't wait to get to the feather extensions. I like the print on that. I think it looks pretty cool with the kind of clear hazy blue metallic that's injected into it. So I'm pretty stoked about getting to that myself. So yeah, this is connected onto the back. Like so, and makes up actually the skirt connection, that's interesting. All right, so we'll go ahead and add on the front section of the skirt, or not the skirt, but the. I was gonna say that I believe this is the skirt area for that, so it's not the torso itself, but I believe that is a connection onto that. Let's see. Next, we have more blue. There's a lot of color in this. You know, I can hear him. I call him Happy Feet. Dog walking around. All right. So we got that section there mixed in. Now, you do be careful with this kit because it has a lot of smaller pieces, which is not a bad thing, but can be easy to lose. It's all that color separation, which is cool, but at the same time, it can be a little tedious. Make sure I get the right one. That's the downside of cutting everything out. Sometimes, you know, you got pieces that look similar and they're slightly off. And here is a little bit of the dark blue. You can see, well, maybe if it wants to focus, that dark blue does not traditional Bandai, you know, dark blue, the older Bandai colors. But again, it does clean up pretty nice, even for the dark blue. Make sure I have this. Oh, popped out. It seemed to hold pretty tight. Alright, so it should go like this. And there we go. Snapping it together. That should hold it in place quite well. We'll move on to the next one, and it is same thing, just the other side. Popping on this side here. This thing is definitely building up in a very unique format. I like it. It's different. Good change of pace. Like I said, the only complaint I really have is the fact that it's got polycap still. I feel like we should have moved on past this. A lot of the kits nowadays don't have polycaps, so yeah, I don't know. There we go. Solid color separation on this for sure. I like it. I like the spine in the back. I think that's unique design. Alright, so next up, we're almost done with the chest here as we get into it, is just the traditional open back, open neck, double polycap head. And then we have these right here, which are, should be, yes, I'll go ahead and put them on, but they actually have some color correcting stickers that go in them. So we'll go ahead and put these on, and then that doesn't, it's not obstructing being able to put them in there, so. I'm gonna try switching sides here. So yes. So like I said, I was doing a little bit of lore review on this today before I got into the live build, because honestly I didn't know too much about this specific Gundam coming into it. And honestly, I liked the manga. It was pretty solid. I'm gonna have to get into it a little bit more, but the concept with kaijus and Gundams fighting with aliens, and which we didn't have that in, you know, any, honestly, almost as much as they're out in space, there's never really any aliens per se. And there might be a couple obscure references and stuff, but for the most part, there's nothing that's a main protagonist or anything. So it's always kind of nice. All right, so let's get these color correcting stickers on here. So yeah, but And then, of course, there is also the traditional we're better than you, even though we're obsolete. You know, new type or coordinators or, you know, along those lines. So, maybe it was easier just to leave it off, but oh, these color correcting stickers, you know. I got a couple of metallic pins. Maybe I should just paint them in, but I don't know if I have the screen that matches the emerald green. So oh man. All right. Grab the other one now. At least I was stuck to it so I can slide it around. Alright. Sometimes you just gotta get lucky with what you can get and move it from there. There we go. Alright, so a couple color correcting stickers on that, and that is the chest section. Easy. A lot of nice color separation on that. I appreciate that. There is a ball joint in that section of the torso, so I'm kind of curious to see how that works out, but it doesn't feel like it opens like I thought, so maybe just, yeah, a little bit of rocking in that. But I will say this whole thing had to be built up to keep it all together, so, you know, cautious. But I will say everything lined up extremely well. A little bit tight in that initial spot trying to get these sections to line up. But everything lined up extremely well. Compared to the last one I built, this was, you know, pretty solid. Alright, so let's move into the head unit itself. And again, just another unique design. It's just different, you know. I don't, do you guys like the design? I'm not sure. I like this personally. I like the design myself. Alright, so first up, I'm going to go ahead and put this on here actually. Is eyes. Perfect. Lines up extremely well. Now that it's on there, because it's so tiny, I can actually grab one of the color correcting stickers and put it on there. All right. Whoop. Again, like I said, this is a little bit heavy on the molding grease, so it's kind of slick at times. Definitely wash it if you're gonna do any kind of customization to it. I'm curious to see how that'll affect, because I didn't wash mine, so I'm kind of curious to see how that'll affect my color correcting stickers as we get into it. Super thin right there in the middle. I don't want to try to rip it. There we go, maybe. Yeah. Does not want to stay on there with that mold or that grease. But I think we finally got it lined up. At least to where it can pass. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so with that in place, next thing up is we are going to head and add the tiny little faceplate here. And yes, there is a couple little the traditional vented slot for the face. I would say if you're going to panel line it, hey yo Johnny, what is going on, my dude? Thanks for popping in. So yeah, so definitely panel line this before you put that on there. That'd be my recommendation, at least. See. So now we get this unique design with the the head here, big old fin. So we got, make sure we have it lined up. Yes, there we go. How you doing tonight, Johnny? All right, we got the other side of the head here. Very different on that. It has like a spine or a fin. It reminds me of the DJ, you know, with all the fins and stuff that it had. All right, so more color correcting stickers. It looks like we're going to use majority of these in the head itself. There's quite a few actually. All right, so we need sticker number 4. Nice. Okay, right on, man. And it has not been a fun experience, so that sucks. What's not made it fun? I gotta ask. Is it the build itself, or just trying to customize the way you want? Alright, this one should be a little bit easier to set since it's so wide. Yes, thank goodness. All right. Okay, perfect. So next up is the good old-fashioned V-fin. Then, whoops. If it wants to stay on. Seemed like it's seated in there pretty good. I will say this is all lining up extremely well so far, and I appreciate that because, yeah. So even though the plastic quality is mid-tier for sure, this one is assembling quite well. All right, so what number do we need that for that one? 3. Ow. Ripping on you when you're trying to put them on there. Yeah, that's a bum. That would not make it fun. I agree 100% with that. You know, and anytime it's so frustrating when they rip. All right, just trying to work these more color correcting stickers in here. Oh, are they wrapping around too? Because that always makes it even more challenging. And it looks like 5 on the back here. So I will say, once you get these, the head and chest done, I have a feeling a majority of these probably are on the weapons after that. Let's see, where did this go on the back side here? Okay, goes up. There we go. Maybe. Of course not. Why would they send you? Why would they send you extras? I'm kind of butchering these color correcting stickers myself right now. Yeah, well. All right. So, and then we just have like gray accent again. So much color on this. I like the color separation. It's kind of nice. And here is, if we get to focus on it, the head. Decent color separation mix on a lot of this. It's kind of nice. Could have done without the color correcting stickers, but unique design for sure. And you can see a little bit of like the print or the mold in the gray. I have noticed that as I kind of get into it. So we'll go ahead and slap this on. And does look pretty good though. All right. So next up we have, we'll go ahead and move over some, the arms here. Now the interesting thing with the arms is they don't really use polycaps in here. So you have the polycaps to connect into them, but that's it. So first up, let's see here. All right, we have, trying to grab a sip of water, is, yeah, just the arm section here. All right, make sure to keep it on screen. Again, the gray is okay. Clean up, you'll definitely have some extra sanding. But it does actually sand out quite well, so that's kind of nice. And so this kit very much is you build the model, you build the actual guy, and then you put the feather extension on, which is a lot more of the armor, kind of like the aerial in a way. So you can move pieces around, adjust them. Why are we not wanting to go together there? Okay, so we have this longer extension in the back. I could say a lot of it like pops, makes the collars pop through too. That's kind of nice. So the water slides that you're using, Johnny, are they, which kit are they for? Or did you, like, are they actually a different custom? Can you get this to go on? Alright, so okay, nice. But no extras. So let's see, it's not wanting to go. Let's switch to the back side and come back around, see if maybe that tightens it up. That one linked in just fine. Well, there we go. That's what we wanted. So maybe just not putting enough, applying enough pressure. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, so you can see where it kind of works in a lot of, maybe, a lot of the color breaking through the under plastic or the inner plastic. So we have this, just kind of builds up nicely. And then slides down into place over top of that, so actually additional support. Interesting. So that doesn't really slide in, that actually builds up and around, and you can see the separation in that. So that's pretty cool. I like it. And then we have just the holding hands for this. That was the only ones. Looks like my I have the cover for the other one as well. That's a little bit on the loose side, probably because, yep, a little bit on the loose side for that ball joint connection. Solid bend at the arm. That's it for this guy on this side. And again, like I said, this kind of builds out and then you add in additional armor. Little bit. It's not too bad. It's a little bit looser than I would like, but not terrible. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the other arm. So same thing, just builds up the same way. Actually, a lot of it's just 2 times and then additional small sections here and there for the armor itself. So we have alright, make sure we have that piece here. Yep. So you have your, do you have your next project that you have planned out after this one, or are you see what else is going to come to you? There we go. Perfect. See, this side goes on easier this time, hopefully. But I will note that again, there is some separation in that area where the ball joint kind of pegs in there. So on the back side, there is a small hole. Yeah. I'm guessing so. I mean, I've got mine already. There was I've most of my scene were already or like pre-order, but most of them is coming out the end of May. So if you're referring to the bootleg here that I'm building, but yes, I think I might have paid an extra $1 or $2. I noticed the price dropped after I bought it. I thought it just looked cool, so I didn't realize it just came out, actually, ironically. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so there's just a small little pin that goes there. Hunter, my dude, how you doing? There we go. this is building up quite nicely. I will say, again, plastic quality is about mid-tier. I would say I give it about a 6, 6.5. There is a decent amount of molding, like the grease from the molds that's on here. So just FYI. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you can't argue with that one. The Python's a great kit. Oh, dude, good. I am doing good. I'm seeing how long I can hang in here before I get too tired. But I'm doing pretty good. I do have some actual cutting I have to do at the end of this one here. Let's see. Need to probably flip this one. Yeah, so this kit, I did do some research, and most of the places I've seen it was going to release. If it wasn't on released, it was going to release at the end or towards the end of May. So not bad. Now this should build up the same way, so I don't know. All right. Make sure I got this. I'm going to go ahead and separate that, and we'll flip it around. Maybe I just put it on the wrong side. I might have to take it apart here, actually, but all right. And a custom for the Python, Johnny, or you got you going to? Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and separate this through, even though it said about the same. I think it needs to be flipped around here, and it might have been just I put the wrong spot on here, so wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, I got a good story for you guys today. So I was working on trying to get ahead of the curve on this, just because I went ahead and did the Chic Mainland kit, so it kind of put me behind on this. But my wife gets up this morning, and I wake up early. I woke up early this morning, and my wife's like, "What are you?" It's like, "What did you do this morning? You haven't done a single thing." And I said, "Excuse me, I was working on my model." And she goes, "Your toy?" And I said, "Ma'am," I said, "this is a highly articulated model, not a toy." Well, she knows that. She does that intentionally to just rile me up. So these aren't toys at all. All right, so we got that built up now. So, as far as fitting goes with this, it's pretty solid. I don't have any issues. Snapping together quite nicely. I will take that. A little tight here and there, but for the most part, it's solid. I did notice the wrist is a little... okay. You got there's a lot of good choices with that one. Honestly, I don't know if I would maybe paint it like a Leo spacesuit color scheme. And maybe a little bit of silver metallic for the missiles or something. Alright, so we got the hand. Again, just a little bit. This one's actually tighter than the other side, but it was a little bit loose there because it wants to separate some. But I'm doing pretty good too, Hunter. We had a good day. This is the last week of school for my kiddos. Or for my son. So he's doing all the good fun stuff before he goes into first grade. Okay, I will. She probably won't, but I will see what I can do. Oh, I'm waiting for the 1/35th scale Fang Dang to come in. Fang Dang model, because I am totally going to build it, and I'm going to put it in my car in the passenger seat and strap it in. Make a video. All right, so here is the upper section. Single bend in the elbow. Arms feel pretty good. The shoulders feel pretty tight for the most part. This one I thought was a little loose, but it seems it's pretty solid. And good color separation on this. Again, this kind of builds up the model itself, and then you apply the armor. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on over. Why not, right? I gotta go for it. Have some fun with it. All right. So next up is the feet. The greaves, you kind of build up about half of it, and then go to the other section here. Interesting. So a lot of this, I mean, it kind of has this whole, a majority of an inner frame, so that's kind of nice. Keep it back on screen. Yeah, I struggled with cutting right here just because of where it's at. I didn't have my X-Acto knife, and that's kind of a hard spot. Now, honestly, it's going to get completely covered up, but still, I know it's there. And nice little setup with that, popping through. Everything's fitting extremely well. I cannot argue with how well this is actually fitting together. I mean, I'll take a little bit lower quality on plastic if everything lines up well. I know the Zaku, I mean, it wasn't too bad. The police Zaku I just reviewed, but filing out the arm joints did make it a little hassle. I feel like this one's building up quite nicely. Alright, there we go. Can be tight at times, but very solid. Everyone have a pretty good weekend? Let's see. We did a lot of graduation stuff for ours, so I did. I'm trying to push this one, but I think I got it. We'll see. Alright, so feet's different, but not terrible. Kind of trying to get the line up in here. Yeah, okay. So should pop down. Now here I was saying everything was lining up just fine. Now we're going to run into something. There we go. Just a little bit extra force. Especially when it comes to quality plastic. I don't want to force it because I'm afraid I'm going to break it. Slide that on. And I'm going to build up the back side here now. Again, the majority of your cuts are kind of hidden in the plastic, so that's kind of nice. But interesting in the design. I guess in the gray and the plastic below, it is kind of. I'll touch it up a little bit there. Again, it does clean up. The plastic actually cleans up quite nicely. The red does show no marks even after kind of cleaned up, so. Oh yeah. There, that's pretty tight. That should be good for supporting. And then you got this down here, so that's kind of cool. Different little design for the foot that actually A little bit on the loose side, maybe, but pretty solid all in all. So we'll go ahead and build up the other side, and again, you just build up the feet, the lower portion of the legs, and then you add on the other. Then you build the individual sides. I would say yes. I would say yes on that, and also the design I feel is like very much which from Mercury. Now that's a great question though. I would say that it's pretty close to the Rich from Mercury designs, and yeah, I mean, when I'm building this, I kind of get that vibe, which I personally like the Witch from Mercury builds. So, all right, not too shabby on that, except for I missed the yellow that goes in here. I can't think of anything that I would describe it closer to. I feel like that's pretty accurate. So, has anyone got the PBandai kit for this one and built it? I'd just like to know your guys' thoughts. And then also, I asked this at the beginning of the live stream, but do you guys like the Kaiju concept in fighting Gundams? Very much Pacific Rim style. Which, by the way, I personally like the Kaiju. I grew up on Rubber Suit Godzillas, so I do have a biased opinion, but I do like it, and I do like Pacific Rim. Let me know what you guys think. As I say, it does very much, and that's kind of, I was talking with my my neighbor that builds Gunpla too, and he very much was looking at the pictures, and he thought the same thing. He's like, that very much looks like a Witch from Mercury kit, and he's like, a lot better than the G-Quox, and I said, yes, a lot better than the G-Quox series. I'm just not a fan of the designs, as much as I try to get behind them. Alright, so we got the lower sections of the leg built, and you'll see periodically that there's going to be some peg holes throughout the kit. That's where the armor builds on, just like you would have with like the aerial and stuff like that too. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move over into the leg section, or the upper leg section now. Yes, it makes for a very interesting story. I was catching up on the lore today, and before I got into this build, listened to Gundam Explain, and then also Simple New Type. Both awesome channels, especially for lore and stuff like that. Definitely worth checking out if you guys haven't seen it. I'll give some love to them because I do get a lot of my information from them. But yeah, so I was catching that. I really do like the storyline behind it. I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Yes. And make sure I'm not missing anything. Yes, we're good. Okay. So, just the polycaps in. It's a little tight there, but not too bad. That's really tight in that bend. Hopefully it'll work free a little bit, but I personally like it because that means it should add some more support. But this thing, it builds up different. I just like it. Honestly, it's been a solid build. The company that made this one is, I had wrote it down because I didn't want to make sure I didn't forget. It's Qia Nye Model, Qia Nye Model. So that is the company that made this one. I don't know much about that one. I'll have to check that out. I will have to. I was catching up on this one. That's the downside of. I miss a lot of stuff, unfortunately, because I focus on the one kit that I have, and that's about or that I'm reviewing, and then so I miss other things that's coming out. Just like I think Johnny's the one that filled me in on the strays coming out on the high grades. I think don't misquote me if I named the wrong person on that one, but oh, okay. I'll have to check out that, see if I can track down the link. So that sits a little different. It's not going to line up perfectly on that. I don't know what's the deal. I have a feeling it's going to be concealed anyways, but yeah, it's going to be concealed. So let's see if we can get that to line up. It's always hard to track down stuff these days because there's so much that's being leaked. So many different things. That's AI. I'm not against AI. I do occasionally use AI mostly for helping me with some script writing or something occasionally. I try to get away from that still though, even. But yeah, so it's hard to track down, keep what's real and not, though, because of that. Flip that up. There we go. So the Zero, what is this a new series altogether, or is this something from a previous one that we've already seen? Hunter? I don't know, unfortunately. Alright, so there is the leg. Kind of really nice bend in that. On a ball joint here, base. And then a good separation in the foot. That piece right here, that big piece of armor, wants to kind of slide around a little bit. It's not perfect line up on the one side. Just a little bit of a gap. Now, I will say, I did actually note that there's a couple of spots on here that's intended to actually have a gap. This is not one of them, unfortunately. So just a little bit off on that, and it might be just something catching down here maybe, but yeah, it looks like it slides down onto it. Let's see if I can work it back free here and try to start it at the bottom. About the same. That does seem a little sketchy. I'll have to check that out. Alright, so here is one of the legs built up, and we'll get into the other one now. But yeah, that's interesting. Again, interesting. So everything's fitting together, I would say, really good for this. I'm pretty impressed for the most part on this so far. I did list it. So the guy I popped in earlier asked if this was already out. Yeah, I've seen it on multiple stores now. If it's not out, it was coming out within the week. So if you're looking to pick this kit up, I mean, definitely check out whatever sources you get yours from. I got mine from AliExpress. That's where I get most of my third-party and bootleg kits from. But again, I didn't realize it was not out yet, or it was just now coming out. So that's a nice little surprise for me. So I'll take it. Oop, grab the wrong leg. All right, so make sure we have it lined up. Nice and tight, very tight on that bend. And next up we have is that additional armor. Not the additional armor, but the all right, so this is where it kind of gets a section here, so I got to make sure maybe it wasn't all the ways in. I like the fact that there's extra support holes around. It's not just a simple peg, there's actually additional supports into it as well, so when you're piecing it in, you have like that additional support to lock it in place. It's kind of nice setup. And again, just slightly off right there. Something to do with the way that's designed with that venting. Just doesn't want to line up the best. Because of that, I imagine I'm probably going to have a little bit of a gap again. No, this one's lined up pretty good. Mecha Chat's vid on the Gundam. Okay, so it's fresh. I hadn't seen it yet, so. And I pop this in. All right, both legs are built up. Now we get this quick torso. And then after that, I will actually have to cut some. So I normally don't try to do that just to streamline the process, but just for time, and I feel like sometimes you guys actually want me to cut some pieces out. It might be just my imagination, but I think it's probably worth giving a shot. Oh, okay. All right, so I had a very busy weekend. It was a busy weekend from Friday on. Fun weekend, but busy. Couple graduation parties, and on Sunday, then Saturday we had a event we wanted to take the kids to. So Kids and Cops, actually pretty fun little event. We've kind of went there for years, but this is our second or third year going. All right, so that is literally, and I went ahead and put this pulley cap on just to keep it from rolling around while I'm cutting it out, but that is it for the torso section. Now, the legs utilize a round peg, and then you also have, it's kind of a hexagon shape there, but it does feel pretty secure. So this is essentially the Gundam without the feather extension on. Gundam Zirius without the feather extension on. So yeah, not half bad. Good coverage. Very, very much. Now the feather extension, once you add it on there, obviously it covers all the space. But so we'll go ahead and get that on here. I like the design. It's definitely different. And I can't wait to get into the I'll show you guys real quick because I can't help myself. But this metallic, like, because it's for feather extension, it also comes with some effect parts. It's just, I think it looks really cool, personally. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think. That metallic blue, I thought they did a pretty good job printing that myself. Okay. So, I did get to go a little bit on this, but then I'm going to have to start cutting, so. Yes, absolutely. 100%. I don't even question it. I was like, this is, yeah, very much a Witch from Mercury design, which honestly, I'm okay. After, you know, when it first came out, I was like, you know, I don't know if I like the design, but then G-Quox is like, oh, hold my Gunpla, watch this. I'm like, okay. You know what? Ariel's not that bad. I'll take that back. All right, so let's go ahead and get these on. So it's kind of now, it's like pegging on to the kit. And it'll be interesting. Yeah, so like I said, I did cut out a little bit trying to get things started, but I guess ran out of time. So I said, I'll do it live. If you get the reference, you know. Alright, so yeah. So it's just kind of layering on the armor, which makes a world difference. Yeah. So that's a little bit of gap there on the legs. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's supposed to be that way. There we go. All right. So yeah, that is interesting design. Now, let's get to clipping. Yeah, my dude, I knew someone would get it. All right. So yeah. Now, forgive me because I don't typically do this on camera. I cut it. I'm always kind of close to my face when I cut it. That's one of the reasons one of the reasons. I mean, the main reason is to streamline, but yeah. So it's it's an interesting one for sure. So, a lot of it's just right here on the white. But trying to cut as far away as possible. And then see B128. If I go through I try to go all the ways down the runner on that segment that I'm using whatever these parts from, and I go back to it. But I do my cleanup after the fact, so I'll cut the part out first, and then I go back and clean it up. I'm assuming that's kind of how I would assume that's probably how everyone or most people do it. But I might be wrong. Who knows? Alright, so we need D. Yeah, so this kit's very interesting. I like the concept. I like the design. Witch from Mercury style. It's a good palette break from the last few kits that I've built. The plastic quality again is that's all right. A34. Anyone working on anything? I know a lot of you guys said you're just eating, which sounds great to me right now because I am hungry as well. All right. It looks like we do have a couple color correcting stickers on here. So I kind of get close next. I do cut down, and then I will sand. Again, a lot of these are actually kind of hidden away, so I'm not too worried about nub marks for the most part. I wish it was undergated. That's something that would have been nice. But if it's a newer kit and they're rushing to get it out, I actually understand. And I kind of was cutting it out. There you go. Always a good choice. But yeah, so if they were rushing to get it out, I kind of understand some of the placement, but I will say connection points on the runner, it's not ideal. Just there was a few spots I was like, man, I don't like where that connects, but it looks like for the most part they're concealed, so. I told them your Toy Story. My wife's up right now. I told them you called them toys. How rude of you. Sorry, as she walked through the hallway, I had to let her know that I put her on blast. Yeah, as you can see, they cut pretty nice. It's that dark blue. I might leave a little bit extra and try to file that down. Yeah, I'm gonna just try to file that down a little bit more. So yeah, this blue definitely give you some room to kind of sand it. I will say it sands down all right. It takes out the majority of the nub. But again, placement on this kit's been pretty solid. Initially, I thought when I was cutting it out, I'm like, I really don't like where it's connected here or there, especially on like sharp 90-degree points or curves. But once they're on there, you kind of see the placement wasn't too bad. I told her they're highly articulated model kits. They're not toys. Okay. So yeah, I mean, let's get that close, but that cleaned up pretty good. You can see just a little bit of the connection point to the runner, but not bad. So this pops down into place. And you do have a little bit, like I said, just some areas where the molding kind of broke down a little bit. Nothing major. And it may not even be consistent across all the models. It might have been just mine, where I had a little bit of excess, or just the couple of the finer areas, or just a small detail. It looked a little bit on the rough side. Not through the entire kit. It seemed to be a piece here or there. So, not bad. Let's see. That's a good question. For panel lining purposes, I would say, I would say for the most part, it's probably good. Get them in there. There is not. So the way it's designed, there's a lot of part separation, but there's not a ton of panel lines on here. So you will, especially I guess on the exterior, the feather extension, you might have a little bit more panel lines there, but yeah, for the most part, there's actually not a lot to even panel line. Let's see. Get in there. It looks like I'm not centered. Try to back it out of here a little bit. Definitely on the tighter side. All right, Johnny. Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate you. Good luck, and hopefully the water slides, go well for you to finish it out. Let me know what you figure out on the Serpent custom too, man. All right, so we got that in place. But have a good night, dude. I do like the color separation that comes through on that. So it looks like I missed it. Got one on the shoulder there. So we'll go ahead and grooves in. Interesting. I like the layering effect. That comes in handy. It makes all the difference. So that's on a peg, but because the way it's designed, you're not getting much range in that. I have a feeling that's actually going to catch a little bit. I also see a little bit of a nub I need to clean. Yeah, so as far as to go back to your panel line question, as far as the Gundam itself, there's not a ton of panel lining on it. You might be able to accent some actual just part separation, but when you get into the feather extension, that's where you're going to find a lot of your details on this kit. All right, so So, what do we need? 21? No, 24. Yeah, so I definitely like the storyline. Definitely worth investing into the manga for sure on this one. I like the different story that it kind of plays out. Yeah, that cut out pretty good. Let's see. Before I put this on, okay, nope. There is a color correcting sticker on this part, so I want to make sure that I get it. There's some additional plastic. So I thought it was initially on the rifle and stuff, but it turns out you're gonna have some more on here. That would be kind of nice. I definitely think it's worth the OVA on that one. I like the designs. There's some pretty cool concepts in it too. So, and I mean, if they did Witch from Mercury, I don't see why they wouldn't do that one. All right. I mean, if they're willing to make a model of it too, I think it would be definitely worth doing an OVA on it. So this pops into the arm here. Oh, came out. Yeah, see, that just changes the whole layering of it. I mean, look at the sides here. The build's been good so far, man. How's it doing, Kaze? So, but yeah, so that's the comparison, layering on there, but it just changes the whole build of it. So, just to recap for you, plastic quality is about mid-tier. It's about, I would say out of 10, it's probably about a 6.5 maybe. It does have a decent amount of molding grease on it, in my opinion. But not terrible. And then as far as the fitting goes, it's been pretty good on the fitting. I can't really argue with that. It makes it so much easier. It's been pretty simple to build. Oh, nice. It's always nice. I know I'm waiting on one more kit to come in, and that's kind of where it took a while. It got caught up in customs, so I've been waiting a minute for it, but I'm super stoked when it comes in. And then I'll probably order another round. I have some master grades I want to get around the building too, though. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say this one. Yeah, the what is it? The Qia Nye Model, Qia Nye Model is the company that made this one. And I mean, honestly, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I will take a little bit lower quality on plastic if things line up well and snap together. And honestly, my fingers don't hurt that much, believe it or not. So, in my opinion, that's a win in my book. So, yeah, man. So how you doing tonight, Kaze? Struggling trying to find my angle with the camera here. I will say I did come across this a little bit. Just some leftover residue on these kits. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera there. But, yeah. Yeah, but this one is because it's a large item. So it got held up quite a bit, unfortunately. I so cannot wait for it, though. My, the 1/35th scale. It's going to be huge. It's going to be probably the biggest model I have, actually. Or once I build it, of course, but... Ow. Yeah, so I wasn't too worried about, because I don't think I'm going to do much for... I'm probably not going to paint it, more or less. But yeah, highly recommend, yeah, a little bit of Dawn, something just light, and you don't need a lot either, just to give it a good rinsing for painting. I agree 100% on that. Let's see, 24, here we go. Yeah. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, so I don't do too much for painting, but I didn't. Once I started cutting it, I realized how it was so greasy. I was like, okay. So, but it's what it is. All right. Let's see what we got here. The Gilgog Menace from GL, huh? Okay. Is that a 144 scale, or is it something... I've been seeing a lot of upscaled kits here recently, too. Of course, that's what... Gilgog Menace is from Seed, right? Freedom. Let's see. Is that Freedom? D17. I need a D. I keep hitting the camera, guys. Sorry. Adjusting to the different style here. If I had to cut these out again, I'll lay them in a different format. Alright, D17. Here we go. I want to actually try a couple kits from Angry Bird. Nice. I've seen the Psy Gundam, and I mean the reviews I've read on it too was pretty solid. But, yeah, I actually, do you know anything about Angry Bird? I know they do, the one I'm looking at is the Blanche, with the metal frame. Have you had any chance on those ones? Based on what I've seen, the reviews are extremely well, but I would like to pick one up, but there's quite a bit. No, I do like the Wings of Light for that, though. It looks really good. All right. Blanche Master Grade from Blazing Spirits. Is it a metal inner frame? The main thing, I want to try some metal inner frames. No, the Destiny Heine was another one Angry Bird had made. Okay, so it's overpriced then. I knew it was like you get a lot of stuff with it with a base and everything and the metal frame, and it was like, but I kind of struggled because of pricing. It was like $56 or something like that. USD of course, but it looks really cool. And I like the base and everything that you get with it. Come on. Whoop. Alright, so we gotta work this in. Ah, that one's definitely tight. Oh. Yeah, honestly it if it's actually coming out, it looks really good. I did see some pictures of that one. And if it does come out, it looks really good. Again, I'm going to put that in air quotations. If it comes out. Yes, it would, from Fat Cat. That would be nice. I'm loving all the extra stuff though. It will be released in August. Okay. I didn't know if we want any more like new perfect grade new releasing comment. You know how that's been. All right. Yeah, so I would definitely say a little bit. Some of these smaller details might be difficult for panel lining and everything. I need to build some of my good old-fashioned Bandai kits. I gotta whittle down some of that backlog. But I do have what was it? I picked up the Origins Sharzaku 1. I forget. Hi, Nikki. How you doing, man? I appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. And welcome to the channel, dude. Appreciate you. But, so I do have the Sharzaku 1. Oh, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you, man. So, but yeah, so it's pretty good. You know how I am with Sharzaku stuff, so. Late this year, take that info. Yeah, I will take it with a grain of salt because I have heard some all kinds of stuff. Well, JMS is definitely a solid brand to go with. If you're looking for one, especially with PBandai kits and stuff like that, JMS has always been pretty solid. Yes, I don't know, that's a lot of painting, man. It looks really good. It looks really good though. So it's so tempting. It is. Yeah. I would love to have a tequila Gundam. I really would. But yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say you built that one, Case. I remember you actually talking about that one. But I like the JMS company. It's pretty solid. They've been pretty good quality when they come out with their kits. I've built a few of them now, and I would say I like them. Oh, so I mean, I know they did mostly the wing stuff, but they haven't really done. They haven't done anything outside of that, really. Now, yeah, I try to get the information as much as I can too on that, but I haven't seen anything released from them. They do have some pretty sick designs, though. Might have, I don't know. They were pretty early on. There you go. Ah. Okay. Yeah. See, Case has the info on that one. I was gonna say I thought they had disbanded, but I wasn't sure exactly which way they went with everything on that one. So I honestly thought they were sued, but yes. Yes, they did change their JMS is no longer, so they're probably still listed online, depending on where you're purchasing from as probably JMS. But he's absolutely right. They did change their name to WH on that. So same quality though, still good stuff. All right, so another color correcting sticker on this. Got right here. Yes, I cannot wait for the real great Sazabi. That is one of my favorite real grades of all time, man. That's still. Didn't even pull the sticker off after I got too excited about that. So the real grade Sazabi. I built the Bandai variant, and I'm super stoked to see that they're doing an upscaled to master grade size, because it is hands down still one of my favorites. It's going to be good. As far as lawsuits go, they, obviously I'm not legal advice on that, but I mean, that if you're copying stuff, you're opening yourself up to, lawsuits. Best way to do that is just not to copy and, make your own rendition and then probably call it something different and clearly not take something. But yeah. Yes, the Fat Cat RX-78-2 and the God Gundam, both very, very, very good kits. And there's so many different variants now of the two. Oh, when is that one released? I don't know about that one, Hunter. All right, so we'll go ahead and work this side on here. Pop in, and yeah, this just makes all the difference on it. It looked a little slim without the additional. Alright, so next up we got like these covers on the feet down here. Okay, I was like, I hadn't heard about that one yet, so I was like, wait. Okay, let's see what we got. We got these nice covers for the feet down here. Yeah. I definitely digging this design though. I hope they do come up with an OVA of it. It'd be nice to see. I appreciate you stopping in though. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. I appreciate that, Nikki. You have a good night. And good luck on your choice for the kits. Yes, again the real grade, either one. The Zeong's gonna be nice too, but the real grade upscaled Sazabi. Oof, I cannot. I'm stoked. I will be picking that up. I don't. And real grades now. This is a full scale, so because I definitely not a huge fan of real grade. I'd rather build a master grade if I'm going to go into all the extra detailing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of awesome real grades, but yeah, I'd rather build a master grade at that point. So D19. And we'll cut that up close there just because that is just a peg. I say the one I've seen is not actually. It's the 1/100 scale. So not Fat Cat, but it looks really good. All right, so let's clean this bad boy up. Oh, I'm so stoked to get to the feather extensions on this. Almost there. But Imperial Kitchen. I like it. Oh, shoot. Yeah, honestly, I'm still waiting for a 2.0 from the Sazabi. It needs it. Same with the new. I know they did the perfect grade, but honestly, the master grade could use some refresh. Yes. That's been in my shopping cart a couple of different times, but I end up deciding against it as much as I would like it. I did watch who built that recently. Was it Zaku Alias? I think it might have been him that built that recently. But it looks cool, and I do like my let's see, hold on here. How we go? There we go. I also like my Rouge, Strike Rouge. I've seen a Strike Rouge in that form, so Make sure I had that lined up right. Let me go to the side it's actually seated for. Yep. Okay. And as far as clipping, it's been pretty good for the cleanup on the white. That'll be a good one. Alright, so let's get this other side here. Oh, flip it around. I'll have to go back and check that one out. I hadn't seen it yet. Get on there. Does not want to line up. There we go. There's a little bit of finagling on that. Not too bad. It's an interesting design for down here, but that's not bad. I like it. So, this pegs right here into the front of that foot. Yeah, I was just talking with my my neighbor about that one, and he was telling me the same. Which one should they replace it with? Is that what you're asking me? Let's see. Of course, they've done the Freedom. They've done the ARC-78. They've done the Unicorn. You know me, I'm gonna say God Gundam or Burning, but that's probably not what they're going to put there. So these go on this peg right in the front, add some extra layer to that, but they'll end up. Honestly, what I'd like them to do is probably a Zaku. I would like to see a Char Zaku maybe up there. I think that would be a good choice. If we're not going to do that one, maybe... Yeah, Wing Zero Custom from Endless Waltz. That is a really good choice. Yeah, that's my guess too. But all right, so we are finally. Let me double check here. I'm getting too excited. Get to that feather type. Okay, yes, we are actually finally the back page with the feather type. I can't wait. Yeah. How big? I mean, what's the scale on that one going to be? That would be insane if they went that route, though. All right. So this is the backside here with the feather extension. Super stoked to get into this one. And yes, cannot wait. All right, so first things first, we need, grab this. The size of that, just the sheer size would be just insane. All right. Yeah, for cutting purposes, I'm gonna have to rethink my camera angle on this one because it just keeps blocking me. I cannot get comfortable cutting this. But I'll just cut it really wide and then go from there. Seven and 8. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. The ball. Oh, yeah. As long as it's got the shark face on it, like like the P-52 Mustangs. Oh, shoot. Yeah, most obscured. I mean, that one probably wouldn't be too hard to build, though. It's literally a ball, a metal ball with the with some hands. Honestly, yeah, I was just thinking Zeta probably would be a strong choice. You know, the main line, Zeta, or maybe even the. Honestly, I could really see a Barbatos if they could figure out that core section for stability. They'd have to put some extra support into that or something. Or the Exia. I could see that one being another one too. So I don't know. Anyone else have a thought on what they might throw up there or what you'd like to see? Yeah, except for when the sun would hit that, it'd blind everybody nearby, right? I'd hate to be the guy living across from that. All right, 24. All right. One day I will make it there. That's the dream. Oh, did I miss one? Let's see. Eight. No, I did get it. Okay. Losing my mind. Yeah, see, cleans up pretty nice, and I'm not gonna have some. Yeah, look at all that gold. Yeah, I was gonna say I would make a trip to see that one. I was gonna say if the God Gundam would be up, I would be just thrilled. I will say I'm surprised by how much there's actually fans out there of the G series, more so than I realized, which is awesome. I love it. But I don't think that's going to be the case. If it's up to Bandai, it's just going to be a different variant of the unicorn. I'm just going to say it's going to be, here is perfect form. here's the Banshee, which actually I wouldn't mind seeing a Banshee. That'd be pretty cool. That makes sense. I feel like I'm gonna quote when I talk about it. I'm just kidding. I just love it. No brainwashing here. None. You should like G series. Who said that? Oh, I'm sorry. Bad jokes. Yeah, so get into this. $2029. If it's only 3 years to build that, it's probably not going to be the Neo Xenon. I hate to break it to you. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, if that goes down. And you can see it again right there, and a little bit in the gray. Coming back to that just a little bit. Just kind of, you can see some of the molding lines. Okay, this goes on the back. Rear skirt. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's not, yes, I would love to see a Zaku, especially Chars, but that to me makes the most sense. But the probably do, yeah, it probably is another granddad. So that was hard to get in there, but then it's pretty, moves around pretty easily. Oops. Pop the middle there. Oh, well, it makes it a little bit easier to access it. Okay. Yeah, so you can, even a little bit of residue still on there from the mold. Finally, the feather extension. I'm ecstatic. Let's get into it. Let's see, D15. Yeah, I could see a granddaddy in like the PBandai. An Alex statue. With the metal frame, right? The additional armor. Alright, so this. I think this is the last part on this runner. Does anyone else celebrate when they cut the last piece of a runner off the runner? Or is it just me? I always kind of celebrate that, because then I throw it off to the side and like one less runner I have to look at. Yep. that would be an interesting one out there, that's for sure. All right. What I've been waiting for. Quite a few of these. You have what, 6 total? Yeah. I don't like the connection pieces on the sides, especially when there's, would have preferred different location for that connection, but he won. do like I like the translucent look on that. So these are 2s. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff coming out for Gundam for sure. I had just a crazy want to download or try to track down the old Gundam Battle Assault 2 for the PlayStation. I wanted to play it really bad the other day. I was like, that sounds like it would be a blast to have right now. I should have. I didn't do it, but it still crossed my mind. That was such a good game. Alright, here's the other 2s. I knew I was missing some. Alright. I am kind of curious about nubbing on this plastic. I get into the translucent colors. Let's see. Okay, not too bad. Not that one. You do have a nice seam line that runs through it. So either way, you're going to have a little bit of nub on that. I almost don't want to sand it because it's a clear, but you got that seam line that runs, or that mold line, I should say, not seam line, but that mold line that runs through there. So that's a little, would have been nice to have it more solid. I'm going to try to sand it. I'm probably going to regret this, but let's see what it does. Yeah. Nope, I don't like the way it's looking. So we'll just leave that be. I do like that translucent. It just looks really good. Alright, so we get the 2s. Just try to cut it as clean as possible. It's very flexible, very thin, so just keep that in mind. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but it's just thin. But yeah, so these from the lore are from data research from the alien mother swans, I think is what it is. I had to double check. I took some notes on this one. Yeah, mother swan. That is the alien that they got these from, that they're primary weapons for against the invading kaijus. So you do have some nub marks on that. From a distance, they're not so bad. They're not showing up, and you can see them a little bit to catch the light. I would have preferred a different placement of that. It would have been kind of, I don't know, even if it was just like on the ends or something. Preferred, but that's just where they chose to connect it at. try to make sure we work this all in and get everything lined up. Now this is kind of tight, so I'm going to put some additional pressure down and save my fingers, maybe. Yeah, see, it's not. There we go. You hear those clicks. There's a little bit of gapping on there. Something's catching. Maybe this one up here. Yeah, just a little bit of catching on that. Not bad, but so because of that, it seems like there's a little bit of gap coming through. I don't think that's going to be too bad, but we will see. Try to clean up that little spot there. Yeah, so that's one section there. Yeah, so it does it does not eject in that sense, no. They're controlled like bits or funnels, but yeah, as far as pushing them together, they haven't yet, at least. We'll see. I got one more set to put together, so we'll see how that racks out, but oh, I don't know how many times I've ejected or launched parts. Yes, it's very much a Godzilla backpack. I mean, with the kaiju and everything, yeah, has a definitely good potential for some glowing nuclear breath. All right. Let's see. Just trying to get the good angles on it. There we go. And that is the last for that runner D. Some nice thruster connections on that too. And I'm jumping ahead of myself. I mean, this is definitely my favorite part of this kit so far is the backpack or the feather extension. I like unique gimmicks. Alright, so what do we need next? Okay, no, I'm actually supposed to build that up again. Perfect. Yeah, this definitely worth an OVA or another. I think this would be a good one, a good series to run an OVA on. All right, so put the one. See if I can try to force it a little bit better that way. I'm trying to. They're so thin though, I just don't want to push them too hard. All right. There we go. I like it. Hey, how's it going? Was it Azog? So yeah, honestly, this has been pretty good. It's been a good kit so far. Plastic quality is about mid-tier, and as far as fitting though, and pieces assembling, it's been pretty good. Missed that one there. Yeah, so I as far as assembly going, it's been solid. If you're looking at it, and like I said, I would say plastic's mid tier. I would definitely put it at about out of 10, maybe a 6.5 or so. The more I get into it though, the more I want to give it a little bit higher score. It seems like so, but definitely if you can't track down the PBandai, this is probably a solid kit to take a look at, or version of it. Or if you don't want to spend what they're trying to charge for a PBandai, I get that too. But yeah, been good. Honestly, assembly has been one of the better ones I've done in a minute. Let's see, what do we got here? We need B. Not undergated, unfortunately. I've been kind of spoiled here in the last few models that I've built, but still. Still pretty solid. Let's go ahead and move on to the lower section here. Yeah, I mean, you can see, I mean, as far as like the quality itself goes, the detailing is pretty good throughout. Every once in a while you see a little bit of where like a line gets a little rough here or there, but it's not that common on here. I've only had it one or two pieces where I've actually noticed it. And so, I mean, the molding quality is good. It's the plastic quality, like I said, is about mid-tier. It's hard to explain. It's one of those things like, when you feel, you're like, yeah, that's quite, I guess the best way is I would say it's like, it feels like Bandai plastic maybe, 7-8 years ago kind of thing. Just a little bit dated, but it cleans up nice. I don't really have too many issues with that. It is a little bit of greasy on the mold, so it's worth washing. And actually, Kay's had posted in the comment how he washes his and it's a great setup. So I mean, definitely worth checking out the comments a little bit higher above. But yeah. So I mean, it's good. I mean, it's been good. The fitting has been great. I haven't like the Zaku I just did previously. I had to like ream it out a little bit just to get some of the parts to fit and stuff like that. But this has been solid. Let's see. Yeah, definitely my favorite part though is still in the section I'm building right now. But the feather extension backpack is cool. See, 29 over here. All right, what we got? A 38. I'll go ahead and hit the other runner B2 then, actually. But oh, sorry, get the hand out of there. All right. So, I mean, it cuts pretty nice. Even I don't have too many concerns. I can't wait for it to be. I'm excited to get it built up and see how it looks, but. Alright, so what do we got next? A 38. Go and cut these close because they're going to just slide right into the part. I'm not too worried about that, so. And I need C. Oh, catching. There we go. Let's see. What do we need on C? We need 25. Okay. Anyone have a chance to build this kit yet, or Bandai version, or let me know. What do you guys think of the design too? Okay, so get that on. Laying that out here, just kind of working through. Designs so. See, I kind of like it, but I definitely like the backpack setup for it. And very much is a Witch from Mercury style design, which I like. I did like Witch from Mercury. I know that's kind of one of those things kind of hit and miss, but definitely way better than G-Quox. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with like the kaiju design. Well, I am a huge fan of Mechagodzilla, so probably why I like it. Got the glowing spikes on the back. Alright, get this lined up. Alright, so get that in. It definitely, when you're putting the parts on there, minus the tail. Well, I mean, we can add a tail. We can make that work, right? Alright, so making sure I have that set up. Let's do a little bit of filing on that. Alright, how's the bottom one go? Like this as well, it goes on backwards. Okay, so clearing that up. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm all in all for this kit, I'm super. I didn't have any kind of expectations coming into this, so I wasn't sure. I just kind of like. I personally, I did like the design, so I was like, let's give it a shot and see. I knew it was a premium Bandai kit too, so I wasn't sure which way to go with it, but. All right. Work that in. Definitely on the tighter side. Again, give me a feel like I'm gonna break it sometimes, but so the fitting has been a little bit tight in spots, but everything for the most part is lined up, with the exception of the larger plastic on the legs. There is a little bit of a gap on that. All right, let's get into this next section here where we kind of build up the just kind of, I always keep it flat, the blade flat across it, and then I kind of file it down if I have anything left. But a lot of times it, the God hands are so nice that, or I know I'm probably due for a new pair because I've used them for probably way too long, but they do a good job getting it pretty flat across it. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's a little bit more residue again on that, so definitely heavy on that. You get more residue that kind of shows up. I mean, this is where I was saying it just sits down into it, so I wasn't too worried about the cleaning up on it because it sits down inside of it there. But let's clean up the other side. This is like the, I'm guessing like a thruster setup on the feather extension. It's a different look. Clear off that extra pieces. Alright, so we get that. Should slide right down into it. There we go. That locks into place. So then they sit on here to these ball joints, peg into. But the cool thing about these is they have like a little fire effect that comes with them. So I like the fire effect. It's kind of cool. Attachment for this one's not as bad, so I'll take that. You're not going to see the nubs. It's going to show up as bad as like it does on the it did on the others. So yeah, so they peg into here, and yeah, give a nice fire effect for that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, to go back to the detailing on, yeah, it's definitely most of your details are going to be in the feather extension. Kind of hard to get into them a little bit. If you got the, I don't have my X-Acto knife on me. I need to pick it up, but there we go. And then this pegs into the back here. Right in the middle. Just I like the fact that yeah, so that's kind of cool. There is the extension on there. And you can good amount of swing. Whoop, popped off the leg there. So put this in. All right, there we go. There's the Godzilla spikes on the back. All right, so that one probably, yes, that makes that backpack pretty heavy. Next up is the hilts for the beam sabers. So this has a total of, I think it's, yeah, 6. A total of 6 beam saber hilts. I'm not going to cut the effects out tonight, but I will show you guys. It actually comes with the standard effects. Let me pull them out here. It comes with your standard beam saber effects. You get just the normal ones. And that is kind of that darker reddish pink. But then I like this one. You do get these two, so you get like a swiping or a swinging as well. So that's kind of a cool setup. And like I said, you do get a total of 6 hilts that comes with this. Obviously, you only get 4 beam effect parts, but not bad. I mean, see how they all sit on there. Flip that around. And we'll cut these ones close because again they're pegs, so I'm not too worried about that showing. And then yeah, again, a lot of beam saber effects, and that is it for, looks like, runner B2. So another one bites the dust. Going ahead and just assembling, or just go ahead and cut them all out. All right. It doesn't say ×6 on here, but it should. Again, a little bit more mold lines that's kind of showing up just here and there. Nothing crazy, but it does show up. And this has been a fun kit though. I've enjoyed it. Normally my fingers are hurting a lot more by the time I finish one of these kits. But this one's been, for the most part, pretty good. Couple spots is tight, but and getting cleanup super easy. The white's very forgiving. You can see usually just a little bit when you cut it close, but it's not. The white's pretty forgiving on that one. I would say the blue is probably the gray shows up pretty good too, I guess. But a lot of the spots are kind of hidden, so it's kind of nice. I wonder if we have spots for other spots on the hills. I'll have to look and see if it's further down there, but I'm kind of curious why they give you with 6, but you only have storage for 2. Hopefully that's not the case. But these just pop in. There is a guide rail, so lock them into place. Smack dab in the middle tooth, you can see the groove, and thankfully the marking on the outside is actually lined up with that, so you can actually line them up pretty good based off of that. Oh, missed one. couldn't line that up there. So just 6 times. Make sure one's trying to roll away from me. Alright, I hit the screen there. I'm definitely wearing down on this one, so. Popping the sides. Keep tabs on that because I've knocked it out a couple of times relatively easy, so we'll see how that shakes out when I'm starting to do like the articulation segment and everything in this review. And those are super tight in there, so you probably want to get them where you want them seated and then leave them alone. If not, you're gonna readjust. So, and it looks like thank you, man. I would have to agree with you on that one. Flip these around so we don't have the actual connection points in there. All right, perfect. So that is actually the entire build of the Gundam. Now I still got the weapons to do, so hang on there, but here it's kind of hard to get in picture with the backpack in here, but get the additional little flame, you know, kicks in the turbo. And you have this it's kind of hard, sorry, popping that apart, but yeah, I mean, that's honestly not bad. We'll see how some things shake out. I'll definitely make sure you catch the review on that and let you know how, once I start doing some articulation, what I think of these parts that keep popping off when I'm kind of just moving things. But let's keep on moving and we'll get into the, yeah, so next up, and I do like the fact that they incorporate the metallic blue through the weapons as well, so that's kind of a nice setup. Let's make sure. Slide it over here a little bit better. Okay. So, here, go ahead and get into this beam rifle on this thing, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to worry too much about the connection points because, again, most of this is actually inside the gun. E5. I'll cut up right against it, and I'm not going to worry too much about it, but alright, so that's good connection points for this one, at least. It's on the pegs, the majority of it. Except for back here. Yeah, I really wish they would have. That's one thing I wish they would have changed, but that's like kit failure as much as it's just the connection points. Wish they would have had a better connection point on it. All right, so next up, C-26. '21. And this one looks, I can get the angle in there for the, or the focus, I should say. I don't know, something about this design, it's not going to show, of course. It just looks a little bit off. I can't really peg it, and I can't really say it is, but it just looks a little on the chintzier side, just like where, so I didn't line up, but C-18. Let's see, 19. Since I'm already kind of here, I'll go ahead and cut the shield out. I should finish off. Yep. Yeah, that finishes off the Sea Runner. So we're good with that one. That one's out. We're almost getting to the end here. Starting to see some daylight. Let's see. All right. I do give you additional thrusters, it looks like, so that's kind of nice. Get that set up. We'll go ahead and cut out the part for the shield too. I do like I said, I like how they carry this over into the shield and the the rifle as well. So it's kind of a nice setup. So additional little thrusters, you get 2 of those in there. Set this off to the side. Yeah, blue is the least forgiving. It's the one that you gotta definitely give yourself some space and sand down, because it does not want to clean up. Let's see. Here's B3. All right. So has anyone got any kits that they're looking forwards to? I'm finishing this up. I know we talked about that. The upscaled real grade Sazabi. I think that's probably like the, as far as bootlegs I'm looking forwards to, is definitely, I think that one might be my number one that I'm looking forwards to. Alright, so finishing this last little bit up here, and then we'll get into cleaning. I didn't like that sound. His shield's pretty good size on this thing, too. Yes, the Kshatriya. That'll be a good kit. Alright, let's get into cleaning this up. Yeah, that would be a good one. I'm excited to see that one come out too. Still would have preferred a master grade, but I'll take what I can get. There we go. Black was blending in with the paper. I was losing track of it. But yeah, the master grade Kshatriya, that would be that's a good one. It really is. I think I like the master grade SD. I'm not master grade, but the master grade SD line has been pretty good. I like the what they're putting into it for sure. Let's see. This actually might make a tunnel. This might be good for an for an LED setup. Let's see. Okay, so you can actually swap this out. So I was wondering about this. So this part right here, you can swap out to make it just individual, where it's not firing. I should not individual. Getting tired. I'm losing track of my words. But yeah, I'm a little surprised by that one too. But I think that was their way of semi-appeasing people. So anyways, you can take this piece out here and you can swap in the firing one. So you can have it so it's shooting. I'm gonna leave that in for now because I like that concept. I'll put this off to the side so I don't lose it or think that I need an extra piece. Pretty good concept. I like that. Alright. I'm gonna try to give some space on this one just because these are some larger connection points. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that wasn't Sharzaku as well. Yeah, I don't know. I was caught off guard with that one. But like I said, I think it was a way for Bandai to like appease people, to semi-appease them. But you had the that 100 scale Cyrus, you know, the LED lit Kshatriya that came out. So the Razor is actually micro. It's a glass file and it's got micro channels in it to file down. Now the balancer is more of polishing afterwards. So you want to, a lot of times what they do, or what they recommend, is they suggest, you know, sanding it down, then using the balancer to kind of polish it up afterwards, to give it a little bit more of a shine or traditional, like more of a plastic look back to it once you sand it down some. I don't typically use the balancer myself. I tried it when I first got this, but I found that the razor file itself, for what I typically use it for, does a pretty good job of taking care of what I want. So yeah, so hopefully that helps you. But the balancer is very much, yeah, it's kind of like a buffer. It's gonna leave it. Grade. This grade does not want to clean up as well as I'd hope, but I mean, it didn't do too bad. Yeah. So yeah, depending on the type, there's, yeah, you have a few different glass files like that. The razor that I use is from Gun Primer, and it's one of my personal fragments. I had it for a very long time, so it's a solid investment. That's like the 1.5, so that's like, technically that's the first one. They kind of like give it a half. I like it because it's actually thinner than the 2.0, and for purposes of like getting into like some smaller areas, I like it more, I guess I should say. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I like it a little bit thinner to work into some smaller areas. Let's see here, we got, we'll flip that around. Here we go. Trying to line everything up. Does a pretty good job of setting it up though, so. Nice clear gap. And again, like I said, the gray kind of nubs, so just try to give yourself some room for cleanup. Some extra room for filing, I should say, but. And then we got this small section here. Wish I could get this to show up better on the camera. Like, it's not bad by any means. It just feels like it's like shallow. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It feels a little bit shallow for the, so for panel lining you might have to etch it out a little bit more to get it to flow properly. If you use the liquid. We got the bayonet. Yeah, it goes right there. It says, there we go. I had to kind of slide it in there. Didn't want to push all the ways in. Alright, so next up, just kind of finishing out this, some larger plastic. That one's some good distance on that one. Yeah, so. I was going to say, Display has some pretty good glass files too, and I think you can pick those up on Amazon as well. If I know Gun Primer sometimes it's hard to find them in stock, but yeah, Display has some pretty good ones. But there's quite a few glass files on Amazon that you can pick from. Even some, like, there's more generic ones on there too, and they're relatively expensive, but they still do a pretty good job. Biggest thing is just watch how you might want to clean it, or how they recommend to clean it. Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Thanks for the sub. Alright, so we got this Alright, so we got this out here. Go ahead and clean this side up. As you can see, just with the glass file alone, that's probably not a good example with this gray actually, but it does, my camera does not want to focus on it. It does a decent job trying to actually clean it up, so that's not too bad. And like I said, the buffer comes in handy. It really does, especially if you're trying to like even it out with the rest of the shine. But for this kit, the plastic seems to clean up all right without doing that. I don't know if you can see in the shine of plastic on the gray, you can just see a little bit of the a little bit of texture in it from the print or the mold. When we get to these larger pieces like that, that happens. All right, so we have a color correcting sticker here. Hunter's favorite, right? Get all right, so definitely a different design for sure on this one. And it wraps around, so my least favorite color correcting style sticker. Yeah, there you go. Just the best, right? All right. So once we got that in place, we got this guy down here. And it just kind of shows up all the way through the kit, or through this the beam rifle. I like that. Gives it nice little accents. One's a little tight though. There we go. Yeah, so definitely for fitting purposes, a little bit on the tighter side. How does that go in? There we go. So it pops in right there. Find the right groove. Alright, so looks like most of that's not real, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Honestly, when it comes to clear parts like that, one cut close as you can get, if you can make a smooth cut, is the way to go. At least that is for me. But you're not going to see it anyway, so cover it up. Alright, so let's get this lined up. I'd be curious to see how that sits. There's a small hole in the back, on the back side here, if I can show it to you. It doesn't seem like it's not going to be big enough for that, but I bet if we can force it through. Definitely on the tighter side. There we go. So no sliding action. Locks into place. Looks like... Yeah, see? That's what I thought. It didn't. It's not. Let me see if I can force it in. Yeah, so... what I might do... Let's see, how's that connected on? There's a small yellow piece that slides over top of it. We'll go ahead and put that on, see how that lines up. I have a feeling that might hinder it, so what I might do is actually cut that piece off instead. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'm pretty confident, is what I'm gonna cut this off. Without separating it too much. Okay. I cut off the actual peg on that, and now I'm gonna work this on. It should be good. Yeah, that's nice and tight still. Don't even notice it, so. Okay. So let's go back to the white pieces up top here. But yeah, so that peg was actually I think what happened is the molding wasn't clear enough on that to allow for the hole to be big enough. Any Gundam series? That's a good question. I would say just the standard beam rifle or any, because I really do like the GM sniper snipers. But as far as beam rifles go, that's a good question. I would say probably the Zeta. I like the Zeta designs a lot, and I think they're not over the top. I think they're pretty consistent across. Outside of that, maybe I don't know. Seed has some really good designs too. How about you? What's yours? Yeah, the chunky boy. As was said, Seed has some really good designs. I really do like the GM snipers, though. The carbine, bolt action style. I mean, Thunderbolt has some kind of nice ones too, I guess. But yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? So it looks like you're going to have to take, if you want to swap out the two pieces. You got a little bit, yeah, a little bit more of that residue on it again. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, it has that definite time travel kind of vibe. Okay, it goes on the back side here. I'm just on the wrong side of it. I mean, as far as weapons go, though, I do appreciate the fact that it has some nice colors to it, though. It's not just a simple, straight gray and or not just a monotone color. Yep. That's where right here it says there will be a gap. So that actually sits the way it should. Also, I also get a Halo vibe from this weapon, from this gun. If it gets the, like, with the pins on the back and everything, I get a Needler kind of vibe. Alright. Again, white is very forgiving on this kit, so it's been not too bad. Every once in a while I get a piece, I'm like, okay, that kind of needs cleaned up a little bit more, but... grooves in there quite well. Is that as far as it's supposed to go? Looks like it's supposed to go all the way down. Yes, one of my personal favorites too. This takes a little bit extra pressure to get that to where it probably should sit. I was terrible at Halo, but man, that was a fun gun. Alright, so that is the beam rifle. And it does have the option to swap out this piece and go to a standard or a firing. So you can do the basic, where you can look in. You still have the collar inside here, but or down the line, or down the barrel, I should say. That's kind of a nice setup. Alright. Let us... C23. Did I miss a piece? So according to this, there should be a C23. Should be like a handle. Yeah, I did miss a piece. It's like I don't remember seeing that one. Alright guys, well, finishing this shield up, I just want to say I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. This was a longer one for sure, especially when I have to get to the cutting out. Normally I just kind of have them pre-cut and a little bit of file. Sometimes I go through and file a little bit more afterwards, but that way it kind of streamline the process. But I really do appreciate you guys hanging out, and while we're building this shield here, I just want to say thank you guys. I will have this review coming up for probably, should be, I try to shoot for Mondays, so it'll probably be next week on Monday. And I am still working on that mainland chic as well, so. Kind of busier weekend for me, for sure. I was able to work in a live during the weekend, which is rare, but this is my normal time to stream. About every other Monday. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out. Kind of sand this up a little bit here. This is a nice bulky shield. I have to figure out where my X-Acto knife went to. I thought I had it in with my paintbrushes, but I am not seeing it over there. Come in handy for like areas like this, where it's in between Two things kind of hard to cut to. So what I kind of do is, since I don't have my X-Acto knife, I'll take my blade, and since it's a single edge, I'll just drag it across. I'll have to figure where that's at though. Chip that, don't want to do that. Alright, and as far as this kit goes, to kind of finish it out, I'm impressed with the fitting on it for sure. It does line up nicely. Yeah, I mean, and that's my biggest thing. Plastic quality, like I said, it's middle of the pack for sure, but for lining up, I mean that's in itself is nice enough. And then I like the accent colors, especially they do a pretty good job with that as well. So let's see, it looks like we have one more color correcting sticker. Oh. Hey buddy, Dad's about heading to bed, so if you want to go in there with Mommy's already asleep. Sorry, his son woke up. It is still bedtime, believe it or not. So here we go, finishing this up. Nope, it's not time yet to wake up, kiddo. Go back and you can get in Mommy Daddy's bed if you want. Okay. He's never going to pass up Mommy and Daddy's bed if he can get a chance to. Hopefully he doesn't lock me out of the bedroom though. Okay, so we got this guy. Last little bit. And this is everything. The shield. Looking. I have to fix that little indentation up top here. But this is a nice big shield. I like that. With a nice little touch at the bottom. Again, let's see. I don't know if I could just file that down a little bit. So yeah, I mean, this is everything. This is the kit. If I can get them in view here. Let me take my camera back just a little bit. Alright, bear with me guys, but here we go. So yeah, this is the kit, the shield, and the rifle, which I actually might be my favorite, even over top of the feather extension on top on that one. So, but guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Thanks to all the new subscribers too. Thanks for joining and hanging out too. I appreciate you guys. Hunter Dude, it's always a pleasure to talk to you as well, man. Everyone.